Welcome back from one story of celebrating and uplifting musicians in South Africa to another that makes you want to celebrate. We meet Tebogo, who is the owner of an exciting venue called Elements. Tebogo, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Why don't we start with you introducing yourself to our viewers?
Hello viewers, I'm Tebogo Thwala, born and raised in the Eastern Free State. I was born in Kwakwa and I was raised there. That's where I matriculated. But I also lived in Thwala, but I spent a bigger part of my adult life living in Rustenburg. And I also had the pleasure of living in Nigeria and working in Germany and a few European countries.
And what is your background? What led you to become involved in the hospitality industry?
My background is, I studied chemical engineering. So I worked mainly in mining. I had a stint with SAB, South African Breweries, where I worked there, producing beer and stuff. And then we moved to Rustenburg to work in the mines. And then from there, I got an opportunity from a German company, which took me to Nigeria, to work in Nigeria, mainly on iron ore projects. So my background is mainly platinum mining and iron ore mining.
That's fascinating. And how did you move then, transition from mining to owning Elements?
Yeah, you know what? I still do a little bit of business in mining, but from when I was still even in university, I loved music. So we used to organize events, DJ, do all those things. So I got involved also with another chain, a brand of a restaurant, where we did events and all that. That's where I fell in love with the hospitality part of it. And then later on, that's where the brand Elements was born.
Awesome. So tell us about Elements. What is it that you offer as Elements?
As Elements, we're a restaurant and a cocktail bar. So we, in business terms, our target market is LSM4 to LSM8. We sell food, we serve breakfast, we serve lunch, and we serve dinner. But the element of a bit of vibe is there in our store. That's why we have comedy nights. That's why we have also more DJs coming also to entertain our people, from hip-hop to house music, to soul sessions, as in Sunday laid-back music. So that's basically, Elements is that place where you zone into your weekend element. You want to be there. But when you're zoned into your business element or your beast mode work element, you can still come have breakfast on the Monday morning and go ahead and have a great day.
I love the concept. Yes. Elements of everything at Elements.
That's basically what it is.
Okay, so we're in North Riding now. How long have you been open here? And then I know that you also have a restaurant, Elements, in Rustenburg. Yes. Tell us about both.
Yes, we've only been open here for like 2 weeks. Yeah, so our launch was this past Sunday, and we had a great turnout for the launch. And I think we saw the space and we said there was an opportunity to expand and get into Joburg. As you know, I mean, if you want to compete and you want to go mainstream, you have to start in Joburg. We started our business in Rustenburg because, like I said, my background is I spent the better part of my adult life in Rustenburg. I had built a good network. I'd also built my name there in business. So it was a great opportunity to start there and build a name from there. The Elements in Rustenburg has done well. It has organized big and small events. Big events, I'm talking about MTV-based hip-hop takeover. I'm talking about the Metro FM Heatwave, which is an event that attracts over 6,000 people that happens every year. So we've organized that as Elements in Rustenburg in partnership with Metro FM. So we work closely with them as well. So as a restaurant, we have great offering every week in and week out for our patrons.
Okay, so Rustenburg, and then you opened here a week ago. And what are some of your plans for the future, the next 5 years?
Yeah, the next 5 years is, to be quite honest, I think this year we still have an opportunity to open one more store. I can't tell you the location. The plans for the next 5 years is to have maybe open, by 5 years we should be sitting at 10, 15 stores that are well run. We do not want to have many stores that close down, because sometimes you get too many stores and you can't manage all of them. The plan is to solidify our presence in the market and to have a solid support from our people. And once we have solidified our presence, then we can expand and build more stores. We do have interest from people asking about the franchising opportunities and all that. Yes, we're building a franchise, but we believe at this point in time we must run the stores as corporate stores and then build on what we're trying to build. And also it helps us to get to understand what we're trying to do better, because sometimes you have it on paper, you know exactly what you want to do, but until you put it into practice and you meet challenges there and there and you take a while to actually build on that, then you fully understand your brand. By the time you hand it over to someone, you know how to properly run it. Then it's easier to also then assist the franchisee at that point in time when they're experiencing challenges, or even assist them to actually run the store better from the word go.
Very interesting. So you go through the teething problems, build your brand, and then it's a proper product.
And solidify its presence in the market, so that it can have its proper following, loyal support and loyal following. Then then you can expand to even greater heights, and other provinces as well.
On that note, take us through some of the challenges that you have experienced since being open in Rustenburg and moving on to the store.
I think the biggest challenge is to always understand the market. Because you see, when you're a new brand, you can attract people from different walks of life. Now you need to go through that transformation period where you are identifying who exactly is your target market, and then you can stick to them, So those are some small challenges that you experience there and there. And other challenges are more of operational challenges, which I think all businesses experience, but they can be overcome by simply motivating your staff, giving incentives where you can, and making sure that they understand your vision. Because I think the biggest mistake that as entrepreneurs we make is not perhaps explaining your vision to your staff so that they can understand that you're trying to build something big here. It's not going to be another spaza shop that ends there. It's something that they can grow with, and it's something that will create employment and change their lives even for the future.
Absolutely, make them part of your brand,
make them
part of the journey.
So they can feel that they are also involved, they're shareholders after all.
That's very interesting. Tell us more about that.
I mean, if you think about it, like they say, people are your biggest asset. You look at the history of many companies. All these companies started without having employees as shareholders. But when the company expands, you start rewarding those that have been with you through thick and thin by introducing different shareholding schemes for employee shareholding schemes. I mean, we have such ambitions as well. We want to get there and be able to do that. But to get there, you need to have people that are loyal, that can grow with you until you reach such point where you're able to do that. But also remember, some people start in the back office, for instance, where someone is a chef. Tomorrow you're opening many other stores. He becomes a head chef. He becomes a director, that's just dealing mainly with the kitchen, And some of the people start as waiters and move and become managers. When you open a new store, they become general managers of that store. So their lives have changed. So also along the way, some people, we take them through different courses, and they learn different systems about running a restaurant. Some of them would leave us and go and open their own restaurants because of the experience they got from us. So at the end of the day, there's a bigger impact. And that will change people's lives. And that's what we want to do.
Such a good philosophy, and I think a wonderful thing to improve and promote skill development among your people. Tell us about the crowd that comes to Elements.
Yeah, look, the crowd that comes to Elements varies, but it's mainly your 9-to-5 people, somebody that wants to distress, from a long day at work. They come and pop in and have a cocktail for ladies or have a beer for guys. Mainly you see that mainly from in the evenings. But then during the day, we attract a lot of business people that come and have a quick business meeting, and somebody who wants to perhaps work on something but they wouldn't want to work from the office, and they come here and switch on their laptops and sit and work. So that's the form of crowd you have. It's mainly your professionals and business people. Yeah, so that's mainly our crowd.
And then what is your busiest time of day? Would you say breakfast, lunch? And also, would you take us through some of the exciting events that you hold in the evening?
Yes, I think our busiest time is mainly in the evenings. Yeah, I think during breakfast we're not as busy, but with time we'll get busy as soon as the word gets out. And then in terms of the evening and the party, the sort of events and parties we do collaborations with different brands where brands want to launch their products or they want to promote their products. And then we call DJs and artists. Sometimes the brands bring us the DJs and the artists. So it becomes a fantastic party. Like, Cruz, Hunters and Hennessy and them, we also do events with them. And now we're going to also do other events with the other TV stations that are more on entertainment side. And some of the radio stations also approach us to say, we want to use the venue, we want to collaborate with you and do some of the exciting events. So we also are open to hosting people's birthday parties. We've had bookings for birthday parties where people come and have their birthday parties here. The good thing about it is we don't charge people for our venue because we think in any case, people can come and have a drink and have food at our venue. So we are open anyway. So we can't charge someone for wanting to organize to have their party with us because it's not like we're going to shut the doors for other people. So that's what we do.
That's wonderful. That's quite a unique selling point. And how many people are directly employed by Elements?
People that are employed by Elements, I think if we add the store, on average it's like 50 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
these
operation.
are directly involved with the operations of Elements and both of the stores. Yeah, so that's where we're sitting at the moment. And we're not including, because now and again, depending on the weekend we're going to have and how busy it's going to be, we have additional staff in terms of waiters and waitresses, and we source additional staff. So yeah, that's more where we're sitting at the moment.
And take us through some of the greatest lessons that you've learned since being involved in your own business.
Look, I think there's one element in entrepreneurship that many people we seem to ignore, the element of luck and faith. Everyone knows that you must work hard. We talk about working hard all the time. But I think oftentimes we don't realize the element of luck or how much of a bigger role luck plays. And just having faith, because the reality of business is all the entrepreneurs have sort of gone through the same thing. The challenges, the difficulties, and all that. And it's only through faith, because you can have all the plans to maneuver through challenges. But if you don't have faith, how are you going to get through it? So I think for me, the one thing I learned most is all these other skills is what I read about when I read about Sisangebulani, for instance. All the challenges he's been through, and I'm thinking to myself, then how did he get through all these things? Yeah, there must be an element of luck, and there must also be some form of faith involved, you know. So I think one thing I learned that is faith, luck play a big role in business as well. All these other things are things you'll hear from, there are common things you'll hear from entrepreneurs, but you won't often hear about faith and luck. Yeah.
That's true. And if people want to come to Elements, where do they find you online? What are your contact details, phone numbers, and where are you?
Yeah, well, we are situated at Northgate Mall, by Northgate Shopping Center, next to the popular events venue. I think it's the biggest events venue in Joburg. It's called the Dome, Ticket Pro Dome. So we're situated right next to it. I mean, there's some people who don't live around here, North Riding, but who normally come for these events. They must know that we are just a walk away from the Dome. They can even come and park their cars there. We've got ample parking, so they can park their cars here and walk to the Dome to have fun and come back and have fun with us after the events at the Dome. So in terms of the contact details, on social media, we are Elements Northgate. We are on both Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as Elements Northgate. And then the other one is Elements Cocktail Restaurant and Cocktail Bar. So they can just search for us. They'll find us on social media. The number to call in case you want to make any bookings whatsoever is 081 257 7869. Yes, I'll repeat it again, 081 257 7869. So they can just call in and they will be assisted.
Tebogo, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Enterprise Zone. And should you wish to be featured on the show, please do email us at alisonl@afrotone.coza. Till next week, let's keep working to make South Africa great.